Good day, everyone. Today in Psychology of Learning, we will be talking about teaching. As a short review, teaching is a person's interpersonal effort to help others acquire knowledge, develop skills, and realize their potential. So now, as you can see on our screen, the title of our presentation today is Teaching as an Art and Science. You may have heard of this before because it is quite a popular statement. It's actually more like a debate whether teaching is an art or science. But later on, it will be discussed further by our other presenters on how and why we use the word and instead of versus as like in a battle. So here we have the teaching as an art. Teaching can be considered as an art because of the methods and strategies that teachers use in teaching includes connection made between the teacher, the learner, the emotions and passions. So every teacher uses different ways. They have different styles or different teaching styles to deliver their lessons to the students that will keep them interested and get their attention. As part of teaching and also art, it also talks about the compromises between students and teachers, the everyday routines, their relationships. So basically, teaching is on the feelings and artistry.
In teaching as a science, it enhances the effective learning of an individual with the strategies and practices that can be shown in the body of research. For example, in the laboratory lecture, the lecturer let her or his student to explore and discover things in their experiment activities, and with the guidance of the lecturer, the students will know the different strategies and practices.
We have heard how teaching can be an art, and on the other hand, how it can be science. But now, let us ponder upon the idea of how it can be both an art and science. So, teaching can be both an art and science. It can be science because when you are teaching, there are strategies and practices that we research, which eventually shows us effective ways in enhancing the learning skills of the students. Teaching is science in the sense that the teachers are constantly collecting data by observing their students in order to see if learning is taking place and how they learn best. And like scientists, teachers experiment with new techniques or strategies. On the other hand, teaching can also be an art because teachers fully bring themselves into teaching, that they do it passionately. As a teacher, you will need to find the methods and strategies that works best for you. Teachers are not standardized products. What works for one may not work for another. Thus, also teaching strategies that you learn should be adopted and adapted to find your particular teaching situation and your personal teaching style.
Now for both my opinion. Teaching can be both teaching. Can be both. Teaching lets us understand the subject more through passion and the feelings of how the teacher is determined to let us understand. It can be specific as well, as it can go through trial and error for us to understand the subject. For me, a great example of this would be art. Art is a subject that allows you to draw what you wish or what you people commission you to draw. Art is a passion. You can draw what you want, not what you need. Art is a systematic way of doing things because you can't draw like Picasso or Van Gogh from the get-go.
The interaction between the teacher and students is a special bond. The way they shape students with love, patience, and understanding is a work of art. Teachers are using creative techniques is also considered as an art through engaging students to participate during class sessions in order for them to generate ideas from the lessons. It is a way of a teachers to grab the attention of their students because being a teacher is not all about knowing your lessons, but also making students interested. An example of this is teaching through incorporating mystery in your lessons so that students will be curious and interested to listen. Or it can also be by telling puns to make it a little bit fun for the students. Simultaneously, there is a science behind teaching and learning. Different learning approach is used to provide the needs of every student because they have different learning styles. It is just like making an experiment that needs a method that would perfectly fit the needs of the students, instructions to follow, collecting of data by making an assessment, and making a conclusion about the overall performance of each student for it to be an effective experiment. An example of this is making lesson plan of the teachers that serves as their instruction manual or daily lesson guide. In order to become an effective teacher, there is also a need for students' assessments to evaluate their understanding on the course material and test the performance of the students. Teaching is a complex task and a difficult job, but there is only one thing that we are stressing out here is that art and science are both interrelated in teaching. That is the end of our discussion. Thank you so much for listening.